Friday, we learned about the passing of the iconic football player and civil rights champion Jim Brown, who passed away at the age of 87 years old. Brown passed away Thursday night, according to a statement from his family and an Instagram post from his wife, Monique Brown. And this is the post, and it's so beautiful. It is with profound sadness that I announced the passing of my husband, Jim Brown. He passed peacefully last night at our LA home. To the world, he was an activist, actor, and football star. To our family, he was a loving and wonderful husband, father, and grandfather. Our hearts are broken, and that is coming from his wife, Monique Brown. I mean, just so touching. I could feel the vibes just even looking at her really beautiful post. And Brown is considered by many to be the greatest football player of all time. Playing for the Browns from 1957, and this is my hometown, playing for the Browns from 1957 to 1965, after earning All-American honors at Syracuse University in football and lacrosse. Brown helped take Cleveland to the 1964 National Football League championship. He never missed a game, piercing defensive lines in 118 consecutive regular season games, though he played 1 year with a broken toe and another with a sprained wrist. He was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1971, Lacrosse Hall of Fame in 1984, and the College Football Hall of Fame in 1995. But we do know that Jim Brown was much more than a football player, and it showed during the civil rights struggle when the modern civil rights movement gained momentum. In the 1950s, few elite athletes spoke out on racial issues, but Brown had no hesitation working to promote economic development in Cleveland's black neighborhoods while playing for the Browns. He founded the Negro Industrial and Economic Union, later known as the Black Economic Union, as a vehicle to create jobs. In June of 1967, Brown invited other leading black athletes, most notably Bill Russell and Lou and Kendor, the future Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, to the office of his economic union to hear Muhammad Ali after Ali had been stripped of his heavyweight boxing title and faced imprisonment for refusing to be drafted in protest over the Vietnam War. In what came to be called the Ali Summit, viewed as a watershed for the development of racial awareness among athletes, Brown and the others at the session publicly voiced their support for Ali. And here is that iconic photo of Brown, Abdul-Jabbar, Russell, and Muhammad Ali. Baby, you talking about something. But that didn't stop for him there. So Jackson, just pulling you up, let's keep the photo up. I mean, certainly Jim Brown, one of a kind. I certainly had the opportunity to meet Mr. Jim Brown, and he was on the mission. He was on the mission trying to help young black children, as always, doing what needs to be done when it needs to be done. And I am not surprised that he was willing to stand up at the time when it was really hard to stand up and say right is right and wrong is wrong, and to come to the defense of Muhammad Ali, who was absolutely right in his indictment of this country, and he was right about his indictment of the Vietnam War. Your thoughts?
Undoubtedly, Jim Brown and other black leaders of the time were some of the first people and the first pioneers to really open up doors and create avenues for black people in this country to be successful at all, to be looked at as talent. And really, Jim Brown was some of the first people to just change sports in general. Now you look at football, basketball, it's rare to see anybody who isn't black doing really, really well. And Jim Brown was one of the first people to set that tone. But again, also to just the idea that black people could succeed. And really the first place that we could get in that door was through entertainment. And now passing this, and now just more and more we're able to spread out. You're seeing black success in more traditional fields and just unorthodox paths. But Jim Brown definitely was somebody who opened a lot of doors, and without him, things definitely would be different.
Yeah, and just remind, the things like Colin Kaepernick, for example, comes to mind. I mean, somebody like Jim Brown, the great Jim Brown, actually laid the foundation for Colin Kaepernick. We think about what the players that won the Olympics, the black players with the black fists held up in the Olympics. I mean, that kind of activism among black athletes is so important in pushing forward the black liberation agenda. To Jim Brown, one of the greatest, and to his family, Monique Brown and everybody, all families and friends, just condolences. His physical presence might not be here, but his spirit will last forever and ever. He is in the ancestral plane. Rest, Jim Brown, in power and in peace.